Where it stops, no one knows. We're going headed into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Criminality, or if this is your first time here, welcome to Criminality. So today we're going to be talking about the hearing that took place this morning in the Delphi case. I'm sure many of you have already heard this. Some of you may have already heard my commentary on parts of it when I was over on CJ's this morning when we got the news. And so some of it might be a repeat, but we'll see. Let me say hi to everybody in chat and we'll get started. Before I do that, I do want to talk about, I was going to be live tomorrow on the case about Micah Miller. Not sure how many of you guys are following that case. I have now decided I'm not going to do a live on it tomorrow. So she's the pastor's wife who unfortunately took her own life at the end of April, and it was her husband's kind of a weirdo. I don't know. I have nothing nice to say about him. So I have, but I was going to be doing a live on that. I put together a bunch of clips and information. But I think it's pretty well established at this point that she has taken her own life, that she probably had a lot of emotional trauma from things that had happened with her husband. So like I said, I'm not going to do a live about it, but I didn't want to not address it because there was a few people that had emailed me, made comments under my videos and asked me to cover it. I don't think that I should at this point. I just don't feel like I should. So I'm not going to. I'm going to try to let her family, deal with what they need to deal with. And that's, somebody taking their own life is obviously never easy, and it's never easy to accept. But prayers to her family, and her husband's a piece of crap regardless. So that's where I stand with that case. But I just wanted to let you guys know, because I was planning on doing a live tomorrow about it, and now I'm not. But tomorrow I will be doing another live on Karen Reed's trial, covering days 5 and 6. So if you are following the Karen Reed case, make sure you guys are here tomorrow for that one. And there should be some court docs that come out in Delphi tomorrow. So I will probably end up doing 2 lives. I'm going to do Karen Reed hopefully during the day, and then I'll be able to do Delphi in the afternoon. So that's kind of my plan. So let me say hi to you guys, and we'll get started on everything from today in Delphi. Hi, Veronica. Hi, BH. I'm just so frustrated and can't imagine how Kathy Allen must feel. Yeah, Bezo Jones. Hi, Susan. Doesn't grab you. I know when I wrote true crime, I couldn't put my all into a case that didn't grab me in the moment. Well, I was definitely digging in, and I have a lot of stuff I was going to do. I just don't, I feel like I just feel like I feel like they have the answer now, and I don't feel like I should talk about it. And that doesn't mean that other people shouldn't talk about it. And I don't mean that for any channel that is talking about it. Just for me, like, I think that it's resolved to a point that I don't know how much more to do with it, if that makes sense. But I do pray for her family, and she was a beautiful, beautiful person. So, hi, Christy. Hi, Kyra. Yeah, it doesn't seem questionable now, but that poor woman, right? I think that there was a lot. She had a lot going on. Hi, VJ. Hi, Mayla's mom. I followed that case and understand people want to believe the husband did it, but unfortunately she did. I do think there was a lot of trauma, like I said. Hug me, T. Say hi to me. Say hello to me. Say hello to everyone. Hi to everyone. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Jen. Hi, Grendel. Hi, Keiki. All dazzled up. I'm really not. The hair's going to go in a ponytail soon. I just didn't grab my hair tie. I hate my hair down. Hi, AH. I am feeling so much better. I'm still not 100%, but you know, at this point in my life, I'm at the point where I'm just like, I don't even know if I'll ever will be anymore. Maybe it's just an old thing. Maybe you just get old and you're just like, yeah, I'm just broken. Hi, Unindicted. What's up, Luke? Hi, Kyra. You look so purty. You look so purty. Hi, Just Deb. Hi, Phoenix. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, Amy Kate. Thank you. Hi, Four Pitbulls. What's up, Oz? Hi, Carla. Hi, Brandola Girl. Delphi drama to continue. Unfortunately, the sides are going to become even more encamped. We're going to talk about that too. Hi, Chelsea. I don't think this outcome because I don't like this outcome because I don't feel like the defense had a choice. I realize that postponing can have benefits, but it felt like they were forced and an impossible choice yet again. Correct. I don't disagree with you. Yep, Westeros, October. Thank you, Sierra. Hi, Rebecca. What's up, Robin? Hi, Dean. Hey, Christy. Hi, Rescue All the Dogs. Good to see you. Hey, Kit Kat. Kiki. Hi, Laura. What's up? Hello, Spring. Hi, Kathy. Snappy Dragon. Snappy, snappy, snappy. This is, I think you guys were talking before I popped in here. So let me go back down to the bottom, see if anybody else has popped in. Hey, Ares. Hey, Jamal. Princess Buttercup. So annoyed with having to wait until October. Yeah, now I have to go change my flight. What's up, Travis? It's really not a big deal. I purposely bought the ticket that I did because it would be easy to change. So what's up, Jen P? Hey, Ramblin'. Hey, hello. I like your hair. You look so cute. Thank you. I appreciate it. I agree with your decision. I've seen Grizzly's info on MM, but her family deserves their privacy deal. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. Like I said, that's not a hit on anybody who is covering it. So please don't take it that way because it's really not. It's just it's a personal thing. High seas through. What's up, Mark and Indy? Radar. His ex won't get in trouble for his pressures he put on her, unfortunately. Yeah, but you know, karma is a bitch, Veronica. Karma is a bitch, and he already lost his job, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. West Coast theme shirt is perfect. It has calming mood, which I need. Aw. That's my palm trees. Kaleidoscope. Don't stop digging. The gold is on the bedrock. My opinion, her last video kind of said she was going to do this. Yeah. They released. Hi, Punksy. Hi, Kelp, BGOG. Hi, Psalm 91. Hi, Queen B to you. What's up, Nancy? I think I missed a whole bunch down here. All right, if I missed you, I apologize. Hello to everybody. Thank you guys for being here. So I think everybody already knows the trial has been postponed. It is now scheduled for October 14th through November 15th in Carroll County. It's frustrating because we shouldn't have got to this point, but once we were at this point, there's no other choice. And so I'm not upset by it. I think, you know, a month ago when we were in here and we were talking about why there was no pretrial hearings scheduled, there was no evidentiary hearings scheduled, there was nothing on the books for this case whatsoever. We were all kind of going like, what's going on? Something's wrong. And then the motions that came out. So I was pretty adamant. I was like, okay, I think we're going to go to trial. I think we're going to go to trial. And then as time kept going, and then the filings that came out last week was probably the first time I was like, all right, and I don't see a trial happening here in May. Like it was, I was really starting to understand that we weren't ready. And I'm going to make this very clear that I don't think that we're not ready because of the defense team not being ready. And I don't think we're not ready because Nick isn't ready. I think we're not ready to go to trial based on the judicial matters that were not handled and taken care of to prepare for a trial. That's why what happened today was ultimately necessary, because I do not think that she did what she needed to do to get this trial secured and happening in May. It just didn't happen. So that's where I'm at with it. So I'm not upset. I think at this point it's the best for everybody involved. It's the best for the case. It's the best for Richard Allen to be able to have the best defense that he can have. It's the best for Abby and Libby to be able to have Nick prepare a case and them have a complete, exchange in discovery, which as of today, it did not seem like they had. They have, a 3-day hearing coming up in May instead on some of the same dates that the trial was going to be, May 21st, 22nd, 23rd, which was necessary. It should have already been done. This is why we can't have nice things. Okay. Bob can take a breath. And I'm glad that Bob was actually not able to get to the hearing today because he's on vacation. And, these hearings seem to mess up his vacations all the time. And he wasn't able to catch a flight. And it ended up being like an hour long. And none of the things that were scheduled to happen happened. So typical in this case. And I think that the people who were there did a great job of covering it. And I know that Bob will end up doing, he'll give his legal opinions anyway. So let me see what you guys think. You all ever noticed that 4 people could be in that courtroom and there will be 4 different stories? Absolutely. Because people hear certain things certain ways. That's why, one, the transcript is always the best way to go. I mean, or actually the best way to go is just to have it, streamed, but no, she's not going to do that. This is terrible for the families of all, and my heart goes out to them. Agreed. But like I said, at this point, we weren't ready to go to trial. None of them were based on motions. I think all of them, when it comes to being prepared to present their case or their theory of the case, I think they're both fine. And I said this last week. I think they're both ready to go on that aspect, but there still needs to be a lot of things that are done. This also gives the defense the opportunity to test some of the evidence or to examine some of the evidence or have their experts look at some of the evidence that they really didn't have a lot of time to do before. So unfortunately, it's the right thing. I know that it sucks because we're ready to hear the truth, and I really was ready to hear it all. But I think we're going to have, I think it'll be better. Give me 1 second, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. My husband's going to get my hair tied for me. Nancy, yes, the trial's been postponed. They should have just went to trial and took down the state's witnesses on cross so it could be over. And if he gets convicted, then hurry up and appeal. Well, I don't know if there really is such a thing as hurry up and appeal, because that's a little bit more complicated than just being able to get into the appellate court. So, and one of the things, almost every attorney, and Travis is here so he can speak to this too, it's easier to handle the case in the initial trial versus having to go back and try to fix the mistakes of others. Now, there's some things that happened today that I think are more important than the fact that the trial was actually moved. And I think that what happened today, we're going to start to see some of the, thank you, honey. We'll start to see some of the, some things that are going to end up unrolling or unraveling because of the decisions that were made today. So somebody said it's obvious that it really had to do more with goal, but on paper it's going to have to do with the defense. Yes, because the defense ultimately was in a position where they had to choose whether they were going to go for a speedy trial or keep their speedy trial, or if they were going to waive speedy trial and set the date in October. They were put between a rock and a hard place, which is, I don't know if it's a bad thing that I'm just used to that at this point. She doesn't like them. She just doesn't. And the opposition will tell you the same thing. She doesn't like them. They just think it's funny and they like that she doesn't like them. Oh, that's interesting. I know I never really thought about it. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Diamond Eyes. Damn, I'm late. You're not that late. You're good. That's why the first trial needs to be right. An appeal is years away. Right. It's the easiest to get it done the right way the first time. All they get is 2 extra weeks by waiting longer while RA rots in prison. She is still not going to let the defense's third-party defense in. Well, I think you talk about a quicker appeal, then you'd have a better turnaround on the fact that if he's not able to have a defense, then the judge takes away his constitutional rights. Which, I mean, she may be an asshole at times, and she may not like Brad and Andy, but I can't imagine that she's just going to blatantly. Well, it's so tough because, man, who knows what the hell she'll do to just disregard his constitutional rights. But I mean, she did it when it came to choice of attorneys. She just thought, I do still at this point think that she thought that she was doing the right thing for Richard Allen, even though it legally wasn't. I think in her mind, she thinks that she doesn't like them. Yeah, Hobson's choice. Well, now the defense gets more time to prepare and maybe get rid of Gall. Right. So that's why I said there's some other things I think that happened that I think are going to be really important. So, but I do want to play this clip. I did play it on CJ's, but I know not everybody was on CJ's. Not everybody watches CJ's. So I want to play it over here because I thought this was a very good, very quick representation of what happened in the hearing today. And then some of you guys are out there who went to the hearing were so kind and sent me handwritten notes, your Google notes, everything on your notes that you guys took when you were there. And I mean, it's amazing. I can't thank you enough because yesterday I was like, do we have anybody going? Like, are we even going to have anybody in the courtroom, or are we going to only hear from the opposition? Don't get me wrong. There's some in the opposition that I'm fine with. I don't have any issues with them personally. But there's some I don't want to listen to. Love the CJ&T mashup earlier. I was on his, I was going to bed last night and he had just hit his live button at midnight. So I hopped on for a little bit and I was like, all right, I'm going to go to bed. Like, I'm not staying up all night with you. Crazy. I'd go to take my kids to school this morning and I went to go listen to the Karen Reed trial on my way and I saw that he was still live. He was still live. I had been on his live. I'd gone to bed. He was still live. I took the kids to school, ate breakfast, came back, hopped on his panel, but he'd been live for so long, YouTube doesn't like that. So he starts a new live. So then I'm over there. I'm like, this is like, dude, you got to get some sleep at some point. And so it was funny though, because he kept referring to things that had happened, like quote unquote today, but they were actually yesterday. But because he hadn't slept, it was still all the same day to him. So it was just funny. But yeah, no, he does. He just doesn't stop. All right, so let me play this real quick. Make sure you guys, if you can hear it, that's fine. If you cannot hear it, holler at me.
13 News at noon. Right now, we're following breaking news out of the Allen County Courthouse in the Delphi Murders trial. Just a few hours ago, the special judge presiding over the case has now moved to push the trial's start date back to October. Our Samantha Johnson and Rich and I were in the courtroom for that announcement and had the latest.
Just 1 week before the expected start of Richard Allen's jury trial, we now have a new trial date, October 14th of this year through November 15th. And this comes after some concerns from the defense.
The defense said it was clear to them that there was not going to be enough time to get their case presented in that 3-week May window. And so they asked the judge, could we have 15 days to present our case? And if we can't do that in May, we'll waive our right to a speedy trial for Richard Allen and give us the first date you can. And so the judge moved the trial back to October.
Back to October. And the defense wasn't saying today, hey, we aren't prepared. They were just asking the judge not to bookend this trial, not to put an end date on it. In fact, one of the attorneys for Richard Allen, he said today to the judge, I have never been involved in a court setting an end date to a trial. That's when the judge in this case replied, quote, that's a shocking reality, Mr. Rosie. And there was quite a bit of back and forth between the two today.
That contentious back and forth exchanges was all Bradley Rosie, the defense attorney, and Judge Francis Gold. And of course, we know the history of this case with the attorneys being reinstated by the Indiana Supreme Court. Judge Gold has accused them of being incompetent and sloppy in their defense of Richard Allen. And also today, we had a second request by the defense to have the judge remove herself from this case.
Yeah, to disqualify. And as for the prosecution, we obviously heard from Nick McLeland, too, the prosecutor in this case. He said, listen, the state has done everything it can to really condense this and to streamline this process. They claim now they're down to 40 to 45 witnesses for this trial, but still the prosecutor wasn't comfortable committing to a certain time frame. So now we go to October.
Another quote from Judge Gold is that if you can't try this case now in a month, there's something wrong, to which Bradley Rosie replied, you don't know anything about this case. And he said it a lot angrier than that.
Yes, and so we hope to learn more about this case. Even though trial has been pushed back, there are new hearings on the book, which is important to mention. We'll be back in Carroll County Court May 21st through May 23rd. That's to talk about some of the evidence issues that were supposed to be brought up today that we didn't even get to. So much more online. Of course, Rich will have more information coming up tonight, too, on 13 News. We'll see you then.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. So there's that. So let me see what you guys. So Nancy says, why doesn't RA get to attend any of these hearings? He's at the hearing. He was at the hearing today. He was actually transported in, and that's the next thing I'm going to show you guys. I want to show you guys his new mugshot. A lot of people were asking why he has a mugshot this time versus the other times that he's had hearings. My simple answer is he was actually transported up yesterday, so he had to actually be booked in to the jail versus his other hearings where they've driven him from the prison that morning, where he doesn't end up getting booked into any jail. He just goes to the courthouse and then he's transported right back. So he actually spent last night in Allen County, and so he had to be booked in. Once they're booked in, they have to have their height, their weight, and their photo taken. So that, in my opinion, is the difference on why we have a mugshot this time and we didn't have one before. Did we ever determine where he is now? Okay, so this was a little, so I'll kind of get off topic with this, but this was odd this morning. People's alerts started going off that have it set for, like, you know, when he's transported, like anything that happens to him. And so some were getting that he was released on his own recognizance, which is essentially he's never really committed a crime before. He's not a flight risk, and they believe that he'll be fine. Well, that's obviously not going to happen in a double murder trial. He's not going to be released. Another person sent me a screenshot where it said that he was taken to the hospital. But ultimately, another one was, I know it wasn't in hospital, it was 911, due to a 911. Those things are kind of funky when you just sign up for them, because they just put in there that he's being moved, and all of a sudden it's like 20,000 different reasons. He should just be going right back to Wabash. But an interesting thing that happened at the end, which didn't make sense to me why it would matter if he was just going back to Wabash, was the defense team, and that's why I said we're skipping ahead and I'm kind of getting off track. The defense team was talking to Goal, apparently. Mind you guys, I just want to preface this. I wasn't there today, so everything I'm telling you is secondhand information. So I'm doing my best to relay it, you know, as accurately from their perspectives as I can. I was not in the courtroom, so this isn't my firsthand experience. So they were talking about, like Rosie's like, well, what's going to happen? Like, where does Alan go now? And apparently Goal said, like, do you want me to talk about that in front of the public? And so they ended up talking about it without everybody there, I guess. And anybody, if you guys are here, any of you guys that were in the hearing this morning, please always feel free to chime in with more accurate info if I get it wrong, because I want to make sure we put out this most accurate info as we possibly can. But so she didn't want to talk about it like in front of everybody. So I was like, that's kind of weird. If he's just going back to Wabash, why do we care? Like, why would anybody care about talking about it in public? And be like, why would that even be a conversation to be had? Hi, Carrie. Okay, so TT was there and said, yes, that is what happened. Raise money for donations for suits. So in his booking information, it did come out that he, again, is 5'5", and as his weight as of yesterday was 147 pounds, which is better than when he was transferred to Wabash. Still the same height. I think I actually just pulled that up. Let me go see if I can find what his weight was. He's got gray hair, blue eyes. Dun-dun-dun. Let me see if it had his weight. Nope, that's his original. It's 178. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let me see if I can find the other one. Maybe that was the right one. Nope, this is the one from yesterday. What weight? 147, 5'5", gray hair, blue eyes, 51 years old. Don't do mine either, Luke. But I mean, I think that it's important to kind of know like how he's doing weight wise, because he was all over the place. I mean, look at the difference between this and this. And I don't know. People were talking about his eyes being dilated, and I don't know. I don't know. I have no comment on that. But, and then some people will say this is a staged photo anyway, so don't worry about it. Hey, Tammy, but his DMV court record says he's 5'4". Maybe he grew an inch. I thought it said 5'6" when he got to Wabash. Nope, 5'5" when he got to Wabash. I was trying to find his lowest weight. I was trying to see where I had that. I think he was down to like 130, 120 something, 130 something. Somebody in here might remember. Is there any way they're lying about his height? Well, I don't know. Everybody said he's really small. Everybody who goes into court says he's super small. They need to shave him. This makes me think that that he is in like a protective custody where they won't shave him. They won't give him a razor to do it himself either. If he's still on any type of suicide watch. So speedy trial or no? No, speedy trial today was waived, and now we're back to having the trial in October. Look of pain and sadness. I think either way, whether he is the right guy or not, one, if he's not, he's like, I'm fucking being tortured and I'm in prison and I've never done anything wrong in my entire life. And two, if he is the right guy, he probably didn't do anything before. I mean, there's nothing he was ever caught for, so he'd still never been to jail. This is probably still, regardless if he's a guy, it's probably still a traumatizing experience, being as he's not even used to jail, much less prison, much less solitary confinement or anything along those lines. Yeah, if you're on suicide when you're not getting no razors. 122, Jackie said. Well, he probably had shoes on. Maybe that's what's making him 5'5". I used to be 5'6", and now I'm 5'5", just FYI. It's all part of his protective custody order, smoke and mirrors, to keep people guessing that might attempt harm. Yeah. And go put the trial right before the November election. Well, if you remember, when she had put Librado and Scremin on, she had the trial in October. She had it set for October. The only reason it got moved to May was because they had requested the speedy trial and it had to be within 70 days. Oh yeah, there you go. See, you just said the same thing. Look at that. Woo-hoo. Hey Brian, what does it the state says Ari's motive was? They don't, and they don't legally have to say what a motive is in Indiana, I don't believe. Only very few states require a motive. If Travis is here, he'll know. But a lot of jurors still want to know a motive. If you're in the regular hole, though, you can have a razor, but they're safety razors. Let me see. Lie about height, make it more likely to be able to commit murders. He's like, you think he's like what, like 5'1", and they're like, well, there's no way he could do any of it. His eyes almost look like a pic a terrorist would send of a hostage. Yes, absolutely. I can see that. I could see that. There's definitely trauma, but to me, other people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, that's the face of a guilty man who got caught." Who knows? We don't know yet. It's funny because the ladies who were in the hearing today, the ladies who went to the hearing today, said that he was cleaned up, that he did have a trim in Allen County, that he was a little bit more trimmed than this photo. But then Dan, who also went to the hearing, he was like, nah, he looked just like the picture. And I'm like, I don't trust you, Dan. You're a dude. You don't have any idea what's different. I'll go with the women that are saying something changed. They said he was a little more clean shaven. He did still have the beard, and not that he necessarily got a haircut, but he was at least a little bit more put together. He was still wearing orange, which Michael Osbrook actually stated when he was on CJ's today that orange for Wabash should signify protective custody still. So I thought that was interesting. Is third party out? No, we're going to have hearings May 21st, 22nd, 23rd on a lot of that stuff. Motions to suppress, the motion in limine from the prosecutor. I don't remember what else there was. There was something else. But what was specifically not going to be heard in May is the Frank's motions. She said no Frank's motions at those hearings. She has not ruled on Frank's 2 through 4. She hasn't ruled on those yet. They're still pending. But she said that she's not hearing them. Sleeping on hard surfaces can help decompress your spine, increasing height by a small amount. Ooh. Also, the loss of a beer belly will stand a person up better. That's true. That is true. He did age a lot. I think so, too. I think that he's definitely put some age on him. Seems hard to convict a double murder of 2 teen girls without a motive. I'm in Kokomo, by the way. Yeah, like I said, people in general, I think, human nature is to want to understand why somebody would do it. But it's not legal. Yeah, not required by state. To get on third-party suspect defense has to show connect to crime, sometimes has to show motive. A pic gives me the creeps, to be honest. Twilight Zone says people's look weird. Now I'm all ears. Hi, Susie Q. What's up, Queen Elizabeth? They don't have to, but I believe it's considered an important element. I feel like today was a game of chicken with goal in the defense, and the defense lost. But as they would, because goal essentially outranks them. So they can't really do anything besides go back to the Supreme Court. She really is. She likes that October 31st date. She really does. She hasn't ruled on number 1 9 months ago. Well, she did. She denied number 1. Frank's number 1 was denied without a hearing. After she told the new attorneys that she would consider, that if they wanted to adopt it, she'd have a hearing. And then the old attorneys came back and she said denied without a hearing. He wasn't Go the one who told them to make a Frank's. So once again, in the June 15, 2023 hearing, I was not there, but I watched every stream that I possibly could on it. And from my understanding of what happened, that hearing was supposed to be a motion to suppress hearing to begin with. That never happened in that hearing. It ended up being the safekeeping, and they had the warden talking about how Richard Allen was being treated, and they wanted to have him transferred. And what the one she ended up denying, and essentially goes back later and talks to them about how they lied during it, which never actually says what they lied about. So the motion to suppress never actually took place that day. And then she said she thought that they would have to come up with a Frank's motion and then to submit that, and she'd schedule the hearing. So they came up with the Frank's motion and she denied it. Now, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know if she's denying it, essentially saying, I don't like you, I'm going to deny it, because she tells the new attorneys, hey, if you're going to adopt it, let me know and we'll schedule a hearing. Or if there is some requirement that she thinks they need to meet in filing it that they're not meeting. So yeah, it was essentially her idea, but I think that's just like the protocol. She was like, I think we're going to need you to file a Frank's motion. Hey Sharon, surprised to hear you're so certain of BK's guilt and not understand how people think RA isn't. Hold on, let me make sure I understand this correctly. To me, cases are very similar. Gag orders and facts not out there. See, this is why I tell people not to be pissed off at the ones who think that Richard Allen is the guy. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if people think Richard Allen is the guy. I care about people just being assholes, which is very, very different. And which is also why I don't go around to people's streams and be like, BK's the guy. I don't know why you guys think that he isn't, you fucking morons. I don't do that. I think he's the guy. Doesn't mean I need to go and chase down every channel that doesn't and tell them how idiotic they are. I absolutely respect if anybody thinks that Richard Allen is the guy and they come in here and they still want to learn and they still want to talk it through and they still want to figure out different components and pieces respectfully. I just don't like being called names about how I feel about it. For me, I think the cases are very different. I think that there is a lot more evidence that points to Brian Kohberger. Hence, there's DNA on the sheath of the murder weapon found in the victim's bed. You don't have that here. We have DNA. There is DNA, but it doesn't match Richard Allen. We don't even know what the DNA is actually on. The DNA could have been on a leaf that was, 3 feet away. Who knows? So I'm just not convinced one way or the other. But this is also why I don't get mad at anybody who thinks that Richard Allen isn't the guy, because then I can, if somebody came up and said, okay, hey, Richard Allen isn't the guy, and this is the 7 reasons why I think that he isn't, I could probably argue with that person about why he is. I watch Truth and Transparency. She has not got me convinced that Brian Kohberger is not the right guy. I watch, and she just doesn't. I know that she thinks that, and I absolutely respect her opinion on that. But no, I have my opinion. But like I said, this is why I don't go around telling everybody you guys are fucking stupid for thinking that Brian Kohberger's the guy. It's funny how they said the state weren't ready, the defense were nowhere near ready. I disagree with you. I think they're both ready. I don't think that either one of them aren't ready. They called for a speedy trial because they wanted one. And they both stated today in the hearing that they were both ready to go in May. She would not change the schedule. If she had added a week on to the trial in May, we'd still have a trial in May. The only person who wasn't going to change their mind today was Judge Gohl. But both sides stated they were ready. It's a great mental exercise to always argue opposite. Oh, God, it really is. Again, because my thoughts literally change every single day about this case, depending on what parts of the case I'm thinking about that day. Right. No, they said today that they're still receiving a lot of the discovery. Once again, I don't, to me, that's just not uncommon. You're going to see that they try to leave certain pieces of discovery until the very end. And sometimes it's not even important discovery. It's just to continue to dogpile the defense. It's almost like it's like part of the prosecution game. And vice versa. I mean, sometimes the defense doesn't want to relinquish things that they have until closer to the end. There's certain things in the legal process, and like I said, I'm not an attorney, and I'm sure that any attorney that does pop in here, Travis is still here, he can tell you there's just certain things that happen no matter what. Like, it's always going to happen. Like, for instance, watch any trial, and when the state rests their case, the defense will file a motion to dismiss. That's just what they're going to do. And then the judge will most likely deny it. And then, hi, Michael Osberg. It's in common a year and a half after the case was filed for them to be exchanging discovery. If it's new discovery, how is it? See, Travis says that's what we do. Deny the Franks, even though Indiana has white supremacy rooted in cults. Meth production, unsolved arson cases resulting in murder, huge CSAM sting, confirmed by the FBI, correct? Tammy said that's just a few teasers for you. Hi, Teresa. We don't know. I have no idea. We have no idea what they're giving him. All right, let me see what the beginning of your comment, Carrie. They are ready. They just can't present their side in the very minimal time she has allotted them to do. Now, I don't know if that's actually wrong of her, because she states that it's based on jury rule 4, that like in these questionnaires that she's already sent out, she's already put the amount of time on there. And then Baldwin, I think it was Baldwin, and like I said, if somebody who was there will correct me if it was actually Rosie, but Baldwin asked, like, could they potentially ask the jurors during voir dire or voir dire, depending on where you're from, if they could just ask them if the jurors would be okay with staying more time. And apparently her response to that was something along the lines of, like, you want me to like disrupt them for you guys? Like, no, not going to happen. Like, I already sent these out, so it was a rock and a hard place. I mean, that's really what it was. It was a, hey, take what you got and deal with it, or waive your speedy trial and we'll push it down the road. That's your choices. How is there new discovery 7 years plus? Well, say somebody called in something. Say they just found something. Say they just got some type of testing from some lab back. Did Nick have what some called bombshell discovery today? Does Nick ever have bombshell discovery? I mean, I guess that's just my opinion. So there was a comment that was made towards the end that he had some. I should pull up. Let me pull up the notes. Let me pull up the notes I was sent, because I think it would be better if I read straight from the notes instead of making up my own adjectives. So give me 1 second. Let me finish the comments in chat, and then I'll pull up the notes. Is it a coincidence that Todd Click quit after Detective Greg Ferenczi was shot and killed? Any connection to Shane Meehan to Onanism? So Click wasn't able to work on the Delphi stuff after Ferenczi was shot. I believe he actually retired 6 months after Ferenczi was shot. I think it was about 6 months later he ended up retiring. No, and I'm not even saying that it is new. I'm not even saying that it's all new. She doesn't have a. There's not been any comments about a discovery deadline besides the stuff for the contempt hearing, as far as I'm aware, since they've been back on the case. Because remember, the discovery deadline was November 1st before they were kicked off the case. But the trial's been moved around, and I don't think that she's actually put anything in black and white. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Get footnote in there so he can explain this all, and options on interlocutory appeal. I know we were talking about interlocutory appeal earlier, and he said that he does not think that they would go through an interlocutory appeal. He thinks that the next step will just be to go to the Supreme Court. So I did ask him that over on CJ's. He wasn't there today. DB, yeah. There are local discovery rules, not just her rulings. So that goes back to the 30 days of anything that was in the probable cause affidavit needed to be turned over. Well, that might actually be the other hearing that she put on for the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Actually, thank you, DB Cooper, not DB Cooper, for saying that, because they have put in the sanctions or request for sanctions on the prosecutor. And I think that might be part of the hearings that she's doing right now, or she's got scheduled for the 21st to the 23rd. Never anywhere near a courtroom with goal in it. That's funny. Hi, Unraveling. Just throws me over the edge. Well, you weren't going to go today, and then you ended up going, Gambies. I'm horrified she will hold me in contempt for nodding my head. Don't make eye contact, TT. She will sanction the state the day I get recruited by the NBA. Dang, girl. You're getting recruited by the NBA? What? He's really DB Cooper. Why hasn't the court addressed Nick McClellan turning over late discovery? Geofencing information was 10 months late. That's what I was just saying. Okay, so I think I might just be behind in chat, because that's the other things that she's going to be addressing on the 21st to the 23rd. She said essentially all the open motions, all the pending motions outside of the Franks hearing. He quit. Yes, he quit working on the Delphi case when Ferenczi was killed. Yes. Apparently he didn't look at his wife today. I wonder how that made her feel. That's interesting, because the people that I know that were there all said that he walked in and was looking straight at his wife and his mom. That he walked in looking at them. And I said it makes sense, because he would know where they sit, because they were in Allen County and this isn't their first hearing there. So, but this is what we were talking about too. It's interesting how many people go there and end up with a different perspective of how things happened and what was said. And it's proof that it should be streamed, in my opinion. And Mama Libra Scales did a great live today. Yes. Did she end up going up on CJ's? I missed that part. He did look at his wife for sure. And he got to spend some time with his wife. I didn't know that. He looked at his wife and mother many times per many people there. Yeah, that's what I was told. She was on CJ. It was great. Okay, I'll watch that later. I'll go back and watch that. T-Dub. Yes, I heard he did look at his wife and mom and spent time with the wife. He looked, okay, so Gambies was there too. He looked right for them right away, like always. I watch for that every time, like I watch the groom at a wedding when he first sees his bride in her dress. That's like my favorite moment in weddings. It's almost as if each person sees and experiences the world through different perspectives. Isn't that interesting? And then you're going to put a bunch of those people that all saw their world on February 13th through their own perspective, and it doesn't match up with the people standing right next to them, and you go put all those people on the stand, and they're going to tell you a completely different eyewitness statement. You couldn't see my air quotes there. Towards the last 45 minutes. Okay, I'll watch it later. Yeah, Gambies did end up going. She's like, I'm not going. And then she's like, fine, I'll go then. Because not everybody was going today. There was so many people that normally go that weren't going. And I think that it was going to be really easy to get in. And I think a lot of people assume that, you have to get there like the butt crack of dawn or like 3 or 4 in the morning. But I don't think you would have had to today. Criminality, we need to get sleuthy and get with OCA commissioner on getting audio files of hearing today and a strategy for trial. I will reach out tomorrow about the transcripts. I'll ask about audio too and see if that's even available. But I am going to ask. I'm going to ask about the transcript. The audio files go with the next original action. I don't know if they've released any audio. Oh, Osbrook's getting them? The transcripts or the audio? See, I missed so much. I missed so much after I left over at CJ's. Rosie wanted it put on record that when he asked for a 5-minute recess with RA, they had no privacy. Yeah, I'll go through the notes. Well, so there's like 4 people in chat right now that were there today, and so I'll directly ask anybody who was in court today, right now, put in chat whether Richard Allen looked at his wife, looked at his mom, made eye contact, did any type of motion. Andy filed for the transcript. Yeah, but I don't think that'll come to the public though, right? So, like I was saying, the contempt and the motion to dismiss transcripts, they were requested by the defense team, but they weren't made public without us having to pay for them on their own. Though the podcast duo was not there. They did not go today. They said they weren't going to be able to go. To be honest, this is the one case where I honestly don't know. I do not agree with the way Indiana has handled Allen. Doubtful he's a murderer. I'm unsure regarding involvement. Yeah. I've been with my husband 27 years. It would be hard not to break into tears seeing someone you have been connected to for so long and not being allowed near them. I don't think that they ever even released the transcript of the hearing. I wonder if the defense team ever got that, if there's ever been a resolution to that. They had requested months ago the transcript from the June 15th, 2023 hearing. I was in court. Richard Allen looked at both his wife and mother. Perfect. Are you guys adopting, not DB? Only if he confesses that he's really DB. Then we could talk about adoption. So Mama Libra Scales was in court today. I know that Gambi's was. She already answered up here. And go back to that one. TT was in court today. She answered up here. And and somebody else was here. AJ's here. Was in court today. Four people on this chat were there. Yeah. And it's not, maybe he just didn't see it. Not DB Cooper. I was in court today. Or was I? Dan was in court. He said the same. Yeah, that just means that he might not have seen it. That's like the same thing when we were talking about like the March 18th thing that Nick came over and showed the photos to the defense team. Some people who were there said no, they didn't flash that to the gallery. But then there was like 3 other people who came in and said, yeah, we all saw him. So, I mean, some people see it, some people don't. Reno says he's doing a documentary showing how deeply he was involved. I honestly just could care. For me, it's like, don't pay attention. Did you guys see me in court? Oh, AJ loved her recap, but all the time I had. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through some of the notes. I liked these notes, and if they want to say who they're from, they can do that in chat. I'm not gonna say it, but these notes, it was interesting as I was reading through them. Oksana was there. She's not in chat yet, though. I liked these notes because it was something that I hadn't seen in anybody else's notes that they sent. It was like a play-by-play of what was happening before the hearing actually started. So it like gave like a super interesting like visual of what everybody was doing, like before anything happened. So I don't know. I just enjoyed that. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. Let me just blow it up a little bit. Dun, 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 so you guys can see it. I think you guys can see that. So they said Lesenby was standing right inside the entrance after the metal detectors and was watching people coming in and talking with somebody else. Click walked out of the courtroom when they walked in and seemed to look kind of nervous. Gold seemed pretty personable. She was chatting and joking with others in the courtroom, and Gold seemed to be talking with other court staff about plans for jury selection. She was not in her robe yet at this time, and was sassy as she put papers on both state and defense's tables. I thought that was interesting. Auger and Rosie entered, and Rosie picked up Russ McQuaid's mess. I thought this was funny. So Russ McQuaid must have knocked something down, is what my assumption was, and Rosie picked it all up. So now Russ McQuaid owes Rosie lunch. Rosie was pushing 1 or 2 rolling file cards. Baldwin entered shortly after with another 1 or 2 rolling file cabinets. Defense and Richard Allen's family entered from the back of the courtroom, like at the hearing in March. Richard Allen's mother and wife was there. McClellan and Diener entered from the doors at the front of the courtroom, and McClellan has 1 box of files and Diener has a binder. Remember, they're walking in prepared to have a motion in limine hearing and a couple other suppression hearings, and so they have witnesses prepared, they have all their files prepared, they're ready to have like a little tiny mini trial within a trial. And that doesn't happen, so they brought all this stuff for nothing. But either way. Diener and Rosie have an extended friendly exchange behind the defense table. I thought that was interesting too. So I was like, okay, so Diener and Rosie seem to get along pretty well. Give me 1 second, you guys. I know, I thought this was such a good job to this note taker, because I was like, this is like, you almost kind of feel like you're there. You can kind of see like some of the things that are just kind of happening. So Diener and Rosie seem to have some friendly exchange behind the defense table. The courtroom got quiet when Richard Allen entered the courtroom. He was not accompanied by CERT today. I think only Allen County correctional officers or sheriff deputies. He seemed less alert today than in March, but did smile a couple times with his attorneys. Baldwin and Auger each patted him on the back. So preliminary matters, Gold acted like she didn't know who Attorney Auger was or why she was there. Rosie reminded her that she had filed an appearance a week or so ago. So Jennifer Auger had originally come in to do all the TUI requests for the FBI. So it was like it wasn't a limited appearance, but it was like somebody in chat will tell me what the name of it was. Was it limited? No, it wasn't limited. But it was for a specific purpose. And then about a week and a half ago, they put in for her just filed for a regular appearance for her to do general attorney stuff. Gold said she made a ruling on that and they will receive it soon. Gold says she ordered on that motion on 5/2 and is not sure why it was not entered by the Carroll County clerk, but she had her staff enter it this morning. Rosie asked for clarification regarding that order before proceeding because Auger may be making arguments today, but they don't want her to cross any boundaries with her representation since they hadn't seen the order from Gold. Let me see what you guys in chat are saying. It's like reality court. Travis says, Michael Osbrook, so what does it tell you when a judge won't correspond with counsel because they are tired of seeing emails and pleadings? but same judge has clerk file every crackpot's email. That's funny. Yeah, so I wonder what her ruling was, and I believe on my the other notes that I received, it says that they had a sidebar at that time to discuss it. So scheduling issues for jury trial. Rosie doesn't think they can practically complete a trial in that time frame, even after talking with McClelland about it. Gull is upset because the first time this was brought to her attention was in the 430 filing. And Rosie argues that nothing has been streamlined and there hasn't been many pretrial conferences or conversations about the volume of evidence and witnesses. McClelland says he did his best to streamline his witnesses. He says many are chain of custody issues, and he is trying to work with the defense on certain stipulations. Yeah, not sure what the ruling was, but she still stayed at the table. So, I don't know. Quick's friend was murdered, so he has something to be nervous about. Yeah. Brett Skittle says, you can't see, she hated her emails being an exhibit and on the record. Yeah. I don't have a problem with Gull, so I'm not focused on her. I work in education. Gull is like a good school teacher, and the courtroom is her classroom. Okay, let me see. McClelland said I already said that one. So Rosie says we are at the state's mercy. The defense wants 15 days to be able to present their case. Gull argues that due to jury rule 4, she cannot extend the dates of the trial the way it's set currently. Gull says juror summonses were already mailed out on 4/19, and the defense did not request more time for trial until after the 430 filing. Rosie says the court never inquired with parties and that it violates Richard Allen's Sixth Amendment right. Gull says, I cannot under jury rule 4. Rosie suggested that they be, it was Rosie. See, I said it was Baldwin. It was Rosie, I guess. Rosie suggested that they be able to ask jurors if they would be willing to potentially stay longer if needed during jury selection. McClelland says he cannot predict how long witnesses will take, and they might need to throw in more witnesses if there aren't any stipulations. Rosie says, you're not hearing what the state is saying. Rosie argues that Gull is inviting the state to call as many witnesses and extend their case so the defense only has a limited time, if any, to present their case. Gull says, when I send emails, they end up in pleadings, and that's not how I like to do business. She doesn't want the world to see what she has to say. Gull brought up already about having lodging reserved. Ooh. Rosie asked for a 5-minute recess. Gull responded, why? Rosie says he would like a few minutes to discuss their options with co-counsel and with Richard Allen. After the recess, Rosie states he would like to put on the record that during the recess, officers were with them the entire time, and they had no privacy with their client. Rosie says the same thing occurred at the March hearing. I don't understand this because, and maybe it's different there, but courtrooms have specific, courthouses have specific areas for attorneys to be able to collaborate or have private discussions, one with each other and two with their clients. Is there not specific places for them to go? Like, why aren't they taken there? Why don't they go there? Is it like off limits to them? Is it too far away to like meet the requirement of the 5 minutes? I don't know. That just seems odd to me. No, one side knows exactly how long they need, and one side can't even give an estimate. Who's more prepared for trial? Well, that's actually a great point. They certainly do. They have private rooms right out of the courtroom. They went to an office with the sheriff. But there's no reason the sheriff isn't just standing outside the room. Shane Evans won the Carroll County Judicial Primary. Whoa, what a surprise, Chelsea. Ooh, I didn't see that coming. Did he really? So I don't know if we've even talked about this since I don't even know if we talked about this on any of my lives, because now I've been on a couple other panels and I don't know where I've said shit at. But I think everybody who follows Delphi knows at this point that Judge Diener has officially resigned. Well, Judge Diener, Shane Evans, who is the former mayor and is now works at the prosecutor's office and has been an attorney for I think 2 minutes. He was running, and another older gentleman was running. So Diener is gone, and so he's obviously not running. Shane Evans, from my quote-unquote local sources, you guys know I really don't have any sources, but just from locals who come in here and talk, they're all saying that he's actually financially backed by the same people that Liggett was backed by, and the same ones that financially backed McLeland. I don't know that to be true. That's just what I was told. And I was like, Shane will be your next judge. You'll have another judge after Diener, who came in after being an attorney for 2 minutes. And you're going to have another judge in Carroll County who doesn't have any fucking experience. I don't even get it. I got a cough. Hold on one sec. Wait, Charmaine cracked the mystery on why Ben Diener resigned suddenly. Charmaine, are you here still? I know you were here earlier. He won the primary, but everyone in Carroll County is Republican, so they will all vote for him. He will win. Wait, he got 57% of the vote, but Diener was on there and got 19. Well, I mean, I don't know if you can. Would anybody even still be voting for Diener when Diener already stepped down? I don't know. Yeah, another Carroll County yes man. There's another gentleman that from experience looks like he would make a better judge, but I did not look at, I would say from years of experience and quantity of trials, but I did not look at his win ratio or what type of trials he had, if that makes sense. I need a new chair, man. This chair is killing my back. Charmaine says she's here, Travis, but she hasn't looked yet. Travis said that you cracked why Diener left. So in the time the girls were murdered, Shane went from the mayor to drop prosecutor to judge. What experience does he have to be a damn judge? It's an elected official. So I mean, you just do it. You put your name on there. Poor Carroll County. Just don't. And then we wonder, for anybody who does think why the families don't fight back, or why the families absolutely have faith, and maybe they really do. But my thought has always been, if you don't plan to leave this area and you don't plan to uproot your entire life and move away, you almost have no choice but to support these people, because they run your entire city. I feel so drained in my heart and soul from what I've seen and felt today. I can't imagine what the three families are going through. Ooh, Ryder, that's his name. Oh, he was getting votes before he stepped down. Early voting. Okay, a couple of you guys said that. Evans works side by side on this case with Nick. Yeah, he parties with the locals, Cody, Patty specifically. It's just a joke. I don't know. Just talking about these small towns and the people who are raised there and then just end up running the town, essentially. You just go, nobody see how this is legit a recipe for corruption? Not to talk about somebody's incompetence, because that's a totally separate thing, but there's no way you are raised and have. Okay, I'll just give you just a silly example that has nothing to do with being raised in a small town, even though I did live in many small towns. In retail, you guys all know I was a retail manager for over 20 years. So when you got promoted, they did not want to keep you in the same store that you got promoted from, because it's hard for those people that you worked side by side with to look at you as their boss, essentially, when they work side by side with you. Now, that's just a little side thing. So think about the fact that you now have this 30-some-year-old guy that you used to change his diapers, and now he's the judge on your court case. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a recipe for corruption. You don't think you don't think personal feelings are going to come into any of that? Like, how many times are you going to be asked to recuse yourself because you slept with this person or you drank with this person? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. I don't get it, but it is what it is. Like Shane, go run for judge somewhere else. Go run for judge somewhere else and have somebody else has to come in and be a judge here. You have the judges, the cops, and the SA and the conspiracies to cover up shit, then it's very hard to stop it. Yeah, what do you do? How do you fight back against it? Shane Evans, I think most of everything in Carroll County, when you look up like on the CCS, most of everything on my case has to do with DUIs, driving on suspended licenses, drug charges, so many drug charges. There's hardly anything else. So yeah, I do believe he has, but just those types of cases. Okay, so back to the notes. Let me see. Okay, so Rosie came back in and said, hey, why can't we get, we constantly have people listening to every fucking thing we say. Like, is there any way to get around this? Yeah, that's most cases. Yeah, that's all there is. Oh, arson. Yeah, how did I forget that one? Well, they don't actually prosecute anybody who does arson, though. There's just arson crimes that need to be investigated, but they don't do anything about those. So the defense ultimately decides that they're going to waive their right to a speedy trial. Baldwin informs Gold that they have a motion to disqualify her with them and asks if he can approach to provide Gold with a copy of it. Gold says no, she's fine. She'll just read it when he files it. Oh, odd structure, you're saying everything I'm feeling here. I don't want to be here anymore. I have no hope anything will ever change. Not without an overhaul. Not without getting somebody else in there. Unfortunately, it probably won't. And that's where my grace comes in for the families of them not fighting back necessarily. Hi, Noe. Long time no see. Yumiko chat. I'm late. Catch me up, please. I'm talking about the hearing from today. I think you know a lot of it anyway, but just kind of chit-chatting about some of the things. I've heard he was actually a pretty decent mayor. Anybody who's from there can let me know. So yeah, she'll read his motion to disqualify her whenever he e-files it. No big deal. She doesn't need a copy. She sets the jury trial for October 14th through November 15th. We've talked about that. Rosie asked if she is also guaranteeing they have 15 days to present their case, because that's what he really wants, is this 15 days to present their case. Gold says that if they cannot try this case in 30 days, then something is wrong. Rosie jumps up and says, this is my thumbnail, I just love this. You don't know anything about this case. Respectfully. Rosie states, she never set any pretrial hearings regarding any evidence issues. She doesn't know how long this case should take to try because she hasn't had any hearings to go over the amount of evidence that this isn't just a defense thing. This is an either side thing. You have no idea how long this is going to take because you have no idea what either side has to present or how many people they have to present. And he'd even given her the grace in that filing that he did the last time, saying, hey, she isn't aware of how many people are on our witness list because we're filing them, just letting her know we are exchanging the discovery and we are exchanging the witness list. So she didn't even know how many people are on the witness list. But he gave her grace and was like, that's not her fault. She doesn't know it. We're not filing it where she can see it. She doesn't know. But he's telling her, like, respectfully, you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. You don't know because you haven't scheduled any hearings. You don't know because you haven't done what you're supposed to do in order to figure out how long it's supposed to take. Instead, she's like, well, I never heard from anybody that there was going to be an issue. But if you go back to these conversations that they were supposedly having in October, and why I have problems with these things not being on the record is because supposedly the defense is telling her back in October, or I think it was actually, no, it was beginning of October, if I look at the timeline, was telling her we're going to need about 2 weeks to present our case. So she did know that they already had said that. But because she'd already had the trial scheduled for January before they were kicked off, it never got changed. And then the new attorneys never had time to change it because they weren't even on the case for, a hot minute. So then they come back and then it's scheduled for then. And now they're seeing, hey, wait a minute, we're exchanging all this, all these exhibits. That's what I wanted to say, not discovery, but all these exhibits. And we're exchanging our witness list. And I'm starting to see how much Nick has on there, and how am I supposed to have time to represent my client and present a case when he's telling me he has over 100 witnesses and however many exhibits. I can tell by what he's telling me I won't have time. So how would Rosie have known that prior to Nick sending him that information? Do you see what I'm saying? This is all just happening in April. There is no way to know that Nick is planning on taking 2 weeks or having 100 witnesses. Is respectfully the same as bless your heart? I think typically when it's actually respectfully, I think they say respectfully, you don't really know anything. But if he actually said it after, it's a, you don't know anything about this case, respectfully. That's a, you don't want the fucking truth. You can't handle the fucking truth. You don't even care what the fucking truth is. So don't come telling me how long it should take for me to handle my case for my client when you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. That's what that is, in my opinion. Hi, Sleepy. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like trying to say, like, I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but fuck you. Yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Then there's something wrong. Yeah. She's handled this case. It's been all wrong. She doesn't know. But he told her in the filing, like, here, we know you don't know because you don't see how many exhibits there are. You don't see how many witnesses there are. I'll scroll real quick too, because apparently he says that he essentially repeats that again in the hearing today. Like, you're not hearing what the state is saying. So here's McClellan talking about, I can't predict how long the witnesses are going to take. We may have to throw in some more witnesses. So we've got 100 on the list. We may have to throw in some more. Hold on. I got a tickle in my throat and it won't go away. It just keeps making me want to cough. So he's saying, like, you're not listening to what Nick is saying. Nick is saying, like, he's going to, not only is he going to present the witnesses that he's already put on this list, he's going to add more. He's going to continue to add witnesses until he whenever he wants to stop. There's no way Rosie would know that, or to understand that Nick was going to have all of this until recently, until April, when all of these exchanges happened. And you can see on the CCS, which I don't typically go over them, because they're just the, like, exchange of this or exchange of that. Nothing, not normally a big deal. I am a Rosie fan too. I am. He's my favorite attorney out of all the attorneys. I kind of like Hennessy. After reading his after reading his, what's this link? Is this a Supreme Court decision that I should read? I can't get the link until, let me go over to my actual channel because it won't work for me. Jeez. Oh, Mother of Dragons, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you, with the little guy bouncing around. Okay, so hold on. Let me see what this is. Where do you want me to go here? Tell me where to go here. This is from the Unraveling. And where do you want me to go here? Hey, Larkin. I heard the trial got moved to October. It is. Yes, October 14th to November 15th. Yeah, I just meant the ones that have actually argued in the courtroom with the case. Osbrook's filing had me spinning. I had to like study up on his shit because it was like so far beyond my brain comprehension. Travis had to come up. I had to make a chart. Like there was a lot to it. He's like, I have no idea. I just got here. They have had much bigger cases than this. Mike Tyson is just one example, 100 times the size of this case. Who was the judge? Read the Supreme Court decision on Diener's case yesterday, but just not sure it had anything to do with him resigning since the decision came out in February 2023. Okay. This is from Ange though, but Ange, the problem is that if you're not a wrench on a channel, you can't actually drop a link. So Unraveling sent it to Sleuthy, but now I need Unraveling to tell me what I'm looking at. Hey, Crystal. Okay, so I'll keep going through notes until she comes back, and I have it pulled up now though, so a wench or a wrench. Sometimes they're the same thing, not DB Cooper. Sometimes they're the same thing. So, like I said, there's no way for her to know because she hasn't had any of these hearings. And in my opinion, I do think that he tried to be as respectful as possible in the motion that he filed last week, stating, we know you don't know. So let me go back down. He says, like, respectfully, you don't know anything about this case. He expresses his frustrations with the communication issues with the state. We already know that they're not talking to each other. Nick essentially said he wasn't going to have these, what did he call them at the time? Like, he wasn't going to talk to them on the phone. He wasn't going to have any one-on-one conversations with them anymore because of everything that had happened when they were removed. You know, they don't like each other. It's where Diener gets spanked. Okay. So anything in it I need to look at right now because I can't read through it. It's 14 pages. I don't know if there was something in there that I absolutely should look at, like a certain page or a certain paragraph. So McClellan says he has no idea how long the state's case will take to present. We have the burden of proof, and we have no idea. McClellan says he cannot give an estimate of how long the state's case will take. That's crazy to me. How does he not know that at this point when he knows he knows how many witnesses and how many exhibits he has? He's been turning it over. How does he not know that? He should have at least some idea. This to me is like, well, you know, we don't really care. We're just going to try to, we may take the whole 2 weeks. We may just take a few days. Hi, holy shnikes. Yeah, Nick is no longer taking their calls. He was like, yeah, I'm not doing that with you guys anymore. It's written like a screenplay. I know, it's so good. We can go through it. Okay, thank you, Travis. So Gold sets the hearing for 521 to 523 to address the following: the motion in limine, the multiple motions to suppress and compel, and the motion to rule of admissibility of evidence. So that's what's happening 21, 22, and 23. So I already had, I have my plane ticket, but like I said, I bought it for the last week, but I also made sure I bought what that would be super easy for me to change. So I thought I'll change it to this because, man, knowing what I know now about today, I'm like, I would love to be there for this, but I can't. My husband's not going to be around. So I'm going to be like single mom in it for that time. So I can't change it for this. I'll have to just change it for the trial in November. But, it is what it is. So these are the motion in limine, multiple motions to suppress and compel, motion to rule of admissibility of evidence. Let's see if we have not had a hearing actually happen besides the motion the motion for contempt that Nick wanted. We've not had a hearing happen in this case that was actually what it was scheduled to be. None of them are. None of the hearings have actually, like, whatever becomes of them is not what they were actually scheduled for. Like today was scheduled for the motion in limine, and it's just poof, gone. So McClellan asked if that hearing will also address the outstanding Franks motion. Gohl says no, Franks will not be heard at that time. She did not deny it yet, but so it's still pending. Hi, Oksana. Am I on mute? How the hell am I on mute? God dang it. When the hell did I get on mute? I don't even know what the hell I've said. Since how long was I on mute? Sons of bitches. So dumb. I fucking hate when that happens. I don't even know how much I've read. The cough probably did get the best. I probably did mute to cough really quick and then never went back. Bitch, we haven't heard you in minutes. Do not even tell me that. God, you gotta be kidding me. Son of a bitch. There's people at the... Okay, hold on. Now I'm actually going to mute, and it's on purpose. I'll be right back. My son needs me. Okay, so do you guys actually know the last thing I actually said to you before I muted the first time unintentionally? So dumb. Yeah, unraveling. I apparently muted myself and talked for, I don't know, like a minute, and then my son needed me, so I intentionally muted. No, Kyra, it's not you. It's just my life. Okay, the last thing I said, thank you, Richard. Jeez. There was somebody at the door, now the dogs won't stop freaking barking. Okay, so McClellan says they're going to address the Franks motions. Gold says no. Franks will not be heard at that time. So McClellan says he will respond to the Franks 4 soon and informs the court of his motion to rule on admissibility of evidence. McClellan says he filed the motion. This is the one that he filed late last night. And he says he filed the motion but would like to file the evidence under seal because it's quote-unquote pretty incriminating. We've kind of heard different versions of this going around today about this incriminating evidence, but I just don't know how much I take anything he says super seriously. He's still, if we go back to what he's said before, he's still looking for other culprits, so perpetrators, and I just don't think he is. He also wanted to seal the probable cause affidavit, and that one was like nothing. So I don't know. One of the set of notes that I got today talked about that this had to do with the phone recordings. I don't really know how much I want to go into that because I don't really know if that's the case. I don't know what I don't really know what his motion had to do with. But we should be able to see his motion. He just wants to file the evidence under seal. Apparently, he said today that he doesn't know how to do that. I don't know how I don't know how he would not know how to do that when most of the evidence is filed under seal. They're under a gag order. Plus, it's weird because the defense team, when they filed the Franks motion, was talking to the judge and the court clerk about like, hey, we're not really sure how you file this because we wanted it filed under seal, but we were under the impression that like we had to give it to you and you filed it that way. And they were confused, and Gold was like pissed off at them for being confused about how to get this Franks motion filed without it being out there. So now I'm like, wait a minute. Now he doesn't know how to file a motion under seal. So is there something wrong with the system that they were not clear on how to do this? I don't know. So I don't know. This one's kind of up in the air for me on what this is about. Some have said it has to do with the recordings. My interpretation of that is that it has to do with the recordings that he had just requested. And they're pretty incriminating, is also what he originally stated about the confession that ends up being not a confession, potential confession. I don't know. Okay, so Mama Libra was there. So she says, criminality, it's like when Nick said he didn't know he was supposed to read. He doesn't know how to read. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to read an ex parte. The 31st, yeah, the 31st confession. I have no idea. I don't know. Whatever it is, Nick thinks it's incriminating. In my opinion, that was circumventing the gag on pressers. He knew that would be heard and people would run with it, but who knows? I agree. I agree. Maybe it is incriminating. Maybe, who knows? I honestly don't know. Frank's motion merch would go crazy. The stunning 5-bedroom Victorian home offers a perfect blend of classic charm and modern convenience. Situated on almost... What are we talking about, Travis? Where are we moving? McClelland is that guy in your office who drinks the last cup of coffee every damn day, and when you ask him to make a fresh pot, he doesn't know how. Oh, shit, that's funny. He was asking how his mommy had to do it for him. He doesn't do shit for him. He's just like, I don't know how to do it. I want a Frank's Motion t-shirt to wear to trial. Okay, so let's see. What do we'd have to design one. I can design one super easy and throw it in the criminality merch store. But we just have to design one. Or figure out what you want it to say and I'll design it. And crack a soda pop. I was gonna do a but wheat one. But wheat. What about the Franks? I was drinking and choked on Nunya's comment. You got one? Catastrophe? Let me know. If you guys have one that is designed, like I said, I can throw it in the merch store super quick. It's easy to add it to the shop. I don't know on front of shirt, not relevant on the back of shirt. I didn't know. You should say I didn't know on the front of the shirt and not relevant on the back of the shirt with a picture of wheat. When the Unraveling did a different Frank community post every fucking day until the Franks memo dropped. An overly broad t-shirt. We should do like a Frank 1, Frank 2. On the back right, denied. Oh, for Frank's sake. All right, well, we can come up with something. Let's put. We'll figure out what we want to put on, and I'll throw it in the design shop and make something. But would like to file the evidence under seal because it's pretty incriminating. I think we need to probably wait and see what that is. I don't know where to really go with that. And the only reason and not that I don't trust these notes, it's just that every set of notes is a little different, and so I don't really know what to do with that. Goal accepts the sealed documents from McClelland, and then Goal reiterates that she is not emailing any longer because her emails keep ending up in pleadings, and she doesn't think that's appropriate. So her emails have ended up in one from the defense and one in the original action. I don't know how she would get around it when the original action, these notes are on point. Aw, look at that. We could do, we could do family stickers for the back of Baldwin's. You want a coffee mug? I could do coffee mugs. I could do any of it. Oh my gosh, Bumbling Bee, that would be amazing. All I have to do is just design something, and then I can throw it on whatever merch they have available. So anything that you want. Oh, a baby onesie that says unexpected turn of events. Foobar. Okay, TT, can you explain? I'm dying to hear how he said it. The way he said it, though, the way he said it, though, was even better. Evidence we know about. I still think the state has so much more on RA. Salty Beach, I hope you're right, because right now I'm so just like, if we're going with what you've got right now, I don't know how this is, I don't know what we're doing. And maybe it's just because the filings back and forth seem like such a cluster that I'm like, I don't know. So I do think it's funny that she doesn't want her emails in the filing. She doesn't think that's appropriate. I think it's a lack of transparency. She should absolutely not have any problem with anything she says in any email being out in the public. That it's part of who she is. Librato was there and sat stateside this time. A paper bag count may pay extra for some grease on the side. People may be renting out rooms. I bought some groceries at a Stop and Shop and almost got arrested for evidence tampering. Oh my god. So anybody who doesn't follow the Karen Reed case, that's a Karen Reed joke. I almost want to put that on a fucking t-shirt. That's fucking funny. Frankly, Goal, we don't. Fill in the blank. Did TT answer? Okay. Imagine middle schooler giving some hot gossip to the girlies, like mouth to the side, little goofy voice change. And it's like, it's really incriminating. Like, ooh, juicy. Hold on, dogs are red. Okay, the state is acquiring their evidence in chief 18 months post-arrest. I got a bit of a problem with that. Well, if this is the same recordings, like this isn't, I mean, it's not a new batch because they're still asking for them from Westville, which is, I think, this is my opinion, I think has to do with the fact that they only had that transcript. Remember, the defense just kept saying that they didn't have any recordings of this call to be with these confessions. You know, they had a transcript, and that's all there was. So, but then, you know, Nick says, well, we were going to stipulate to what it said. We were going to have a stipulation, but now the defense has not gotten back to me on if they're going to stipulate that or not. So I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to request these, and now that I'm requesting them, they only have like 2 days to give them to me. That's the only thing that makes sense on what he's talking about that he just got. So is it like, is there something in it that's different than what he thought he had before? I think that the recordings requested last week. That's what I think too. I don't know that to be true, but that's kind of the impression I'm getting. Lolly, what do you mean if it's part of who they are? I haven't seen anyone bullied this bad since NK. They are public figures. Oh, then I think I missed a comment up here on what you're referring to, Lolly. So let me go look. You agree with UT and don't see how anyone can see that the state has this in the bag without being shady and cutting corners. That's what I'm saying. I hope the people who are confident in the prosecution, who think that they have something else that the public doesn't know about yet, not necessarily the defense doesn't know about, because a lot of it is, well, the defense knows, but they're not going to tell the public, and you know, Nick isn't going to break the gag order because he's Nick. I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're right, because I think at the end of this, it'd be people could walk away going, they got the guy, and he's not walking the streets, and there's going to be justice for these beautiful girls. I hope you guys are right. I really do. I fear that you're not, but I hope you are. Because I just don't see, you're not getting the conviction if he is the right guy. I don't think you're going to get it on what's been presented to the public so far. You just don't. And then if he's the wrong guy, that's a whole nother world of hurt. Miku's headphones. Did you say that in the other one, or was that not DB when I said, wait a minute, they're all sitting on one side? Somebody was like, it's not a wedding. Oh, yours. That is so funny, dude. That is so funny on you. Lolly, I don't know what that comment has. I don't know what it's referring to, so I don't want to respond, and I don't actually know what if there's a comment. Your chats. Bullying NM in here worse than Chris Watts. What? No, hell no. I'll bully Chris Watts way harder than I ever bully Nick McClelland. Chris Watts is a piece of shit. Please do a live reading all the emails to Judge Gull. Oh God, no, Clyde. I hope I don't even want people to send any more emails to her. She just doesn't care. Teresa, that account is impersonating Dr. Polly. Oh, not a real person. Oh, well, what a surprise. We had a couple of those in CJ's earlier too. NK, it's Nicole Kessinger. She's garbage too. I don't care about her. Yeah. Oh, no Frank's given. I mean, why now? He's been jailed for over a year. Right. Whether RA is guilty or not, it seems he's being railroaded. If he's guilty, if he's the guy, I don't see all the extra stuff needed. And this is how I almost feel about Karen Reed too. If she did this, why is there so much extra? Is it to ensure that this person that they think did it, so they're going to make sure that the person gets put away? But if you don't have the evidence, you don't have the evidence. That's where I'm at. Makes fun of Judge Gull and Nick McClelland. It's constant. Lolly, let me ask you a question really quick. You could totally be honest. Do you go to chats that make fun of Baldwin and Rosie, or chats that call Baldwin and Rosie names? Do you go to them and talk to them about how their chats constantly are mean to the defense team? Just a yes or no will suffice. I just ask you to do better and lead your chat, please. Kindness is the best thing to spread. Absolutely. It sure is. Maybe Lolly act. You know what? I take it back. I say nobody should email people. Lolly, you should email Nick. And you should email Judge Gull. And you should tell them exactly what you're saying here. I take it back. I'm helping you from looking dumb when you find out what they actually have on him. See, this is how I know that you don't actually listen. The only one looking dumb right now is you. And that's unfortunate because you don't have to. You could easily come in here and try to say what you want to say with some type of evidence, some type of supporting documents, some type of, honestly, anything, but you guys are mean to Nick. Are you Nick? Do you know Nick? I don't care. I do not appreciate what Judge Gull has done to the case against Richard Allen in order to get justice for Libby and Abby. I don't care if you think that's mean. I don't care, because what I care about is the outcome of this trial, Richard Allen's constitutional rights, and that those two little girls can actually rest in peace knowing that the person who did it to them is actually behind bars. So I don't care if you think I'm mean. What I care about, I'm mean to Gull. I don't care. I've never even talked to Gull. I don't care if you think I'm mean. I'm at that point. I actually don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm mean to the prosecutor. It's his job. It's his job to prove that Richard Allen did this. If you can look at this case and actually think that there's not shit that's wrong, there's not shit that's broken, then I'm concerned for you as an American citizen, if you are one. All right, I'm done with that. She is the most polite trash talker ever. Lolly's not Ruckus. Lolly's not Ruckus. I don't. That would be weird. Ruckus would just come in here and tell me exactly how he feels under Ruckus's name. Yeah, he has no issue telling me that he thinks I'm wrong and he's right. I know. I'm just mean. Here, make a channel, do a live, and say that Teresa from Criminality is really mean to Judge Gull. And then read all the emails that I've sent her. Oh, wait, you can't, because I've never sent her anything. Wait, read all the text messages I've sent her. No, I can't do that either, because I've never sent her anything. So, respectfully. Hold on one second, you guys. Sorry, my husband was talking to me about dinner. He's like, what are we doing for dinner here? Respectfully. Yeah. So it does mean bless your heart. I don't give a shit. So dumb. Ah. All right. Well, we're on like 2 hours now. I think we've gone through all the notes. Is there anything else that happened today that you guys think is tell that man to make you dinner? That's exactly what I did. I'm like, just you cook. And he's like, I'm so tired of you telling me to cook. I'm like, I'm so tired of you telling me to cook. And I'm like, what do you think we're gonna do about it? He's like, yeah, probably nothing. And then he walks away. And hopefully he cooks. Nah, she was condescending and self-righteous. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I said this earlier on CJ's when the CJ was like, I'm gonna say something rude. I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Just say it. Just say what you gotta say. There was 2 trolls that were in there just saying stupid shit. And I'm just like, I'm just not in the mood today. And I even compared myself to Gray Hughes and I know that not everybody likes Gray Hughes. I get it. It's fine. But he gets really pissed off when people come in his chat and just say things like off the cuff or totally not, relevant to the conversation. And sometimes he just gets mad when people come in the chat in general. But I'm really starting to understand that perspective when it comes to this case, because I'm like, I don't know how many times on every Delphi live that I do that I legit say, I don't know. I sit on the fence when it comes to Richard Allen's guilt. I really do. But I don't sit on the fence when it comes to what's happening to the constitutional rights of an American citizen. And I don't sit on the fence when it comes to justice for the girls. There's no fence sitting there for me. And people confuse that for the fact that I am a Richard Allen lover. Somebody in my comment section the other day is like, you want to have Richard Allen's babies? And I'm like, that's the stupidest shit in the world. I'm 44 years old. I don't want to have anybody's fucking babies anymore. I'm done. I have 3. I'm good. Now, when they say stupid shit like that, and I'm like, you obviously don't listen to my content, because you would know I am not convinced one way or the other. So, and then people are like, well, your chats are so pro-defense. I'll tell you why my chats end up becoming so pro-defense. And now that I've been covering Delphi for long enough, I absolutely can tell you why. It's because those of you in my chat that absolutely think that Richard Allen is innocent don't hate me or talk shit to me because I'm not sure. You embrace me and you talk to me and we go through things and we bounce things off of each other. Very few people, I have a handful. There's about 5 or 6 that are pretty consistently come into my chats. I'm sure there's others that watch, but that come into my chats that are absolutely pro Richard Allen is guilty. I like those people because they're not assholes to me. But the majority of the people who are so stuck and can't get around that Richard Allen, their belief is Richard Allen is the guy. All they want to do is try to berate, be mean, call me names, say stupid shit, instead of like actually having conversations to show what their point is. But like I said, there is a solid 5, 6 that are totally absolute Richard Allen did it. I talk to those people in DMs. They send me emails and they're like, okay, well, what do you think of this? And then I'll say that. And then they'll bounce stuff off of me. But I'm just saying the majority of people, and why my chat becomes so pro-defense, is because the people who think Richard Allen is innocent aren't fucking dicks to me. Number one. And then we have other fence sitters that are here, which is absolutely fine, because that's where I'm at. Yeah, as long as people are nice, I don't care who's here. I really just don't, because I don't care if you think why in the world would I fight with everybody about their opinion about Richard Allen? Why do I want to fight with people about that? But instead, people come in with the personal attacks. If you come in with a personal attack, or you try to copyright my channel, and for anybody who's been around, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. If you try to do personal shit to me, I don't give a shit whether you think he's innocent, guilty, or you think that there's 20 people involved. If you're a dick, I don't want anything to do with you because you're a dick. That's where I'm at with it. So people in my chat actually seem to care about the American Constitution. That's another thing. So that makes people seem like they're quote unquote pro-defense or Richard Allen lovers. But it doesn't have anything to do with Richard Allen. I don't have any personal relationship with Richard Allen at all. It's not just about him. So I am. I'm going to stop being so dramatic. I am. I'm going to take a chill pill. I'm on the fence, but all about our. That's right. I'm like, I'll always be pro-Constitution and I'll always be pro-justice. And those two things should go hand in hand. So fuck anybody who thinks that because I think that we have a prosecutor and a judge that don't give a shit about somebody's constitutional rights, that I call them out on that, doesn't mean that I want to have anybody's fucking babies. So there, done with it. Think about if you were thrown. Oh shoot, that went too fast. Think about if you were thrown in prison because you were at the park the same day as a murderer. Would you not completely lose your shit? Yeah. Yeah, you would. I think you'd completely lose your shit. Oh, you're gonna turn the tables. Oh my gosh, she's so hot. Oh, let me pull the picture back up. Should I pull the picture back up and say so hot on Evan's babies? No, yuck. Can't do it. I can't even pretend. Anyway, I'll see her head roll. It was my eyes. I think my eyes were doing a lot of rolling. Hester, you are on the dreaded Facebook. That's funny. I'm not sitting on the fence, and every passing day only solidifies my opinion with the state's endless shenanigans. They've got the wrong damn guy. How about that? Not only that, but they know it too. Ooh. She's like, tell me like it is. I'm picturing the Kingpin movie with the old lady flattered. Great. That's what you see when I talk. That's terrible. I want to put that on my next picture of my avatar. They're projecting their weird sexual attraction to Nick to people who just want to process. Yeah, I'm not sexually attracted to any of them. He's crazy. He could be a great guy. Maybe, I mean, he's probably a great dad. And so there's no personal attack there on the parenting. He might be a great husband to somebody one day. No idea. Just talking about this case. I was all for Richard Allen's guilt when they announced his arrest, but that night was a total what the fuck. Well, that's where I was at. If you go back, somebody emailed me and they were like, I just found your channel a couple months ago and I love your content, so I went back and started listening to your entire Delphi playlist, which let me tell you is now the biggest playlist. It wasn't before, but now it is. But if you go back and listen to my first lives on this channel about Richard Allen, you won't find my old ones because, you know, of life. But if you go back to the first ones on this channel, you're going to hear me. I'm pretty sure I say, like, good for the prosecution, good for the state finally figuring out who did it. I know I say something along those lines because I thought, like, finally they figured their shit out. You future ex baby daddy. Veronica is terrible. 5'4", just my type. 5'10", he could snuggle under my arm. It's so bad. The comments under this video are going to be so bad. Absolutely guilty or not, he deserves a fair trial. And even the ones that like want to say, you know, it's about Abby and Libby, you know, I say this is another thing I say constantly. It's the state of Indiana versus Richard Allen, ultimately in the hopes of getting justice for Abby and Libby. But you can't do that without a fair trial. You can't do it. A picture of Richard, has anybody seen a picture of Richard Allen? Look at his eyes. Look what they did to this man. They mentally destroyed this dude. Man, breaks my heart. These cops need to be held accountable. Well, let me go back to like one of his first ones. Let's look at is this might be the first one. If it's not the first one, it's definitely one of the first. And then we'll pull up the one from today. Why are you not wanting to move? Thank you. What do you think of that? And I'll actually pull up. Somebody earlier was talking about the sketches, so I'll pull those up too. Let me pull them. Let me find them real quick. I know I have them in here, just under a different folder. Did you guys ever watch? Oh my gosh, what was that TV show called? It was only on for a couple seasons, but it was like the kid. The kid grew up to be like FBI, but his dad was a serial killer who was in prison, and he would go and see his dad in prison, and the dad would help him work on cases. It was just a few years ago this was on TV, but it only lasted like 2 seasons. I can't remember the name of it right now. Let me see. Sketches. He looks like that dad. Why do I not have... Prodigal Son. Yes, the Prodigal Son. Now I'll pull up that dad's picture. Let me see. Let me put this one up here first, though. Somebody said to put the new picture of Richard Allen next to the new mugshot of Richard Allen next to the sketches, and that they said it was very telling. The surgeon. Yes, Bill. Okay, hold on. Let me find that guy's picture. That's who. As soon as I saw his picture, it reminded me of that guy. Let me see. Let me find a good picture. Yeah, here it is. Here, hold on. This guy. That's what he reminded me of as soon as I saw that yesterday. Not this, please. What are you talking about? The Prodigal Son? Doesn't he look like that? He looks like that actor. Rick doesn't resemble either sketch. I don't think so either. And that's not. There's no bias there. I don't think so either. Unless maybe you got the magic hands. Oh, the sketches. You got if you got Doug Carter's magic hands, you can make anything look like anybody. I think like they could totally be related now. But this one was the big one for me when I looked at the side by sides of how he looked when he was arrested versus how he looks now. I was like, he definitely looks like he's aged. That's the Volturi dude, is it? Good actor, played in the Underworld movies. He's aged 10 years in two. I mean, you can just absolutely see the amount of. I mean, he was already gray before, so the gray isn't really it. It's like it's the eyes, it's the wrinkles. It's just, I mean, he just looks much older. Let's see. He did. He absolutely did, Shibby. You're right. He said that one was of Mike Patty, but we don't know which one. We don't know if we've ever even seen that one. It was a good show. I don't know why they canceled it. I hate dudes that wear those hats. Tells me it's not him. Still doesn't look like them. Very telling that they have the wrong guy or the sketches are junk. Okay, so before we wrap it up and I have to go make dinner, I want to ask you guys a couple different things. One is, do you, not to mention you have to be ancient to rock the The visible under T look. It's true. So true. So true. And don't look at the face. It was first, don't look at the hat. Then it was like, well, we can't really figure out the face. Well, don't look at the face. Somebody has to know that walk. Somebody has to know those legs. On the loop, you know, it's literally like 0.2 seconds of footage that we've looped. So you've got to know that walk, even though that's probably not even how any of them walk, but that's neither here nor there. I want to ask you guys, because this is kind of bothering me. Do you guys think, nothing to do with Richard Allen, I should probably just take this down so it doesn't even get confusing. Let me just remove this. Because people will think I'm talking about Richard Allen. I'm not talking about Richard Allen. I'm not talking about any of these people. Do you think that the person that Betsy Blair describes and has a sketch of, I'll pull that back up actually, because that actually works out perfect for what I was going to ask you. The person that Betsy Blair saw and describes in her sketch, do you think that person is Bridge Guy? Take Richard Allen out of all of it. Do you think that the person, should I do a poll? Maybe no, I don't want to do a poll because I have two of these. The person that Betsy Blair saw on platform 1, do you think that person is Bridge Guy? Bring the sketches back up. This one. So, like, do you believe that Betsy Blair saw the person who killed the girls? No, I just have these two. I just want to know if people think that Betsy Blair saw the right guy. She described young Bridge Guy. Betsy Blair described young Bridge Guy. Hi, I have a Apophis. Good to see you. Why would the murderer allow himself to be seen by Betsy Blair or anyone? I'm not sharing anything. Thank you. Dumb. I'm over here showing it to you and you can't see it. I'm so used to having my screen shared like all the time that I just feel like I can just throw anything up there. Betsy Blair describes young Bridge Guy. This is Betsy Blair's sketch over here on the right. So do you think that the person Betsy Blair saw is Bridge Guy? No. Betsy Blair sees a young 20 to 30 something person on platform 1 of the Monon High Bridge. When she walks up to the bridge, she sees him 50 feet away, turns around, walks back, sees 2 young girls walking towards the bridge that she believes match the description of Abby and Libby. So Betsy Blair's on the trails and sees some young guy on platform 1. The one on the right, young Bridge Guy, is Betsy Blair. You mean Chase? Tough question, but they're still looking for sketch 1. Well, not according to Doug Carter. They're the same with the magic hands. You put them together. She likely saw Chase or DP. Why didn't they look around town for a long chin guy? Automatically assume she saw someone at all. It's not for certain. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. No, BB likely saw Chase. We went there actually, but looks like Shane Evans. So, but the majority of you, I don't know how many, maybe I should have done a poll. But how many think that this person is actually the person that Betsy Blair saw that killed the girls? Do you think he's Bridge Guy? Do you think he's the one who tells the girls to go down the hill? Do you think this is that guy or no? Do you think that the guy she saw on the bridge is just some other random dude who happened to be at the bridge around that time? Blurry photo loop of BG is from a trail cam. Who was with Cheyenne? My understanding of who was with Cheyenne is Shelby Duncan, but people used to say it was Cheryl Loeffler, but I don't know if it really was. I think Cheryl Loeffler was there separate, but I can't prove that, so it is what it is. Okay, so now the guy on the left. This is the first sketch released, but second one made. I believe this sketch is a compilation of many different people's, but the defense puts it in as this is Sarah Carbaugh. Sarah Carbaugh was the one that was driving down the street, down 300 North, sees Mr. Muddy Bloody, wait, not bloody, just muddy, blue coat, wait, no, brown coat, we don't know which one's accurate yet, walking down 300 North. So the defense contributes this sketch on the left of Old Bridge Guy to Sarah Carbaugh. I believe this is actually a compilation sketch of multiple people, like from multiple witnesses that put it together, which is why one person describes the hat this way, another one described the hat a different way, so on and so forth. I think this is made from a group, but like I said, the defense puts it as Sarah Carbaugh. How many people think that the Old Bridge Guy sketch is actually Bridge Guy that told the girls down the hill? Do you think that he was the one who said down the hill? I'm saying Ellie is defense. No, because my statement was kind of confusing about the muddy, bloody, not bloody. That was a mixture of prosecution and defense. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you or anybody. Are you saying Ellie is defense? No, all I want to know is if you guys think this sketch, the Old Bridge Guy sketch, is the accurate description of the person who tells the girls to go down the hill. I think I will do a poll. I think it might be easier. I think I can formulate it so that it might come off better. So I'm going to do a poll really quick. Is BG Old Bridge Guy sketch? Let's see. Let me do it this way. No, we want to do BG because that's just too many BGs maybe. Is killer Old Bridge Guy sketch, young Bridge Guy sketch, neither one. I think that should work. That should probably answer my question. Logan represents me. Criminal, since I don't believe BG said guys down the hill, then I don't believe. That's why I changed it. So, do you believe that either of these sketches are of the person who killed the girls? That's why I'm going to take BG out of it. Do you believe that either of these sketches represent the person who killed the girls. Oh, I should have put they're the same person. Oh, shit, I should have added that. Let me see. Because if this sketch on the left is truly from Sarah Carbaugh alone, I don't think he has anything to do with the murders. I don't think the guy walking on 300 North has to do with the murders. Hey, Black Swan. I've been on for a little over 2 hours. We're just coming up to the end of it. Now, I could throw in the other two sketches, but that would I think, get really confusing. See, if you merge them together, you got to do the hands, Kyrie. You can't just go saying it. You have to like wave your hands together, like put them together, and there is Bridge Guy. Let me see if I can do. That's why I said if I throw up the other two, that the quote unquote leaked sketches, that gets even more confusing. I heard this somewhere too. Security guard was thought bumbling and having to possibly know that young BG looks more like Elvis Fields. I don't even think Sarah saw him on 213. I think she's confused. Yeah, the only way they're going to get me to even look at this face anymore is if they actually come forward and say that it's a compilation sketch made by multiple people. You didn't know there was leaked sketches? Oh, now I gotta show them. Hold on. Here's one. Leaked sketch number 1 and leaked sketch number 2. My personal opinion is this sketch is contributed to this sketch. Like the person who sat down and did this one individually, I think their overall ended up being contributed to this sketch. That's my opinion. I can't prove that. That's just my opinion. That's why I don't think we ever saw this. Now this one over here is also very interesting. We originally, when it was leaked, we thought that it was from Teresa Liebert, who would have seen him on 625 down on the south side of the bridge. But Teresa actually describes the person she saw as not wearing a hat. So now I'm like, okay, who the hell made this? Where'd this one come from? But remember, Doug Carter doesn't tell us to add these guys to anything. So essentially they mean nothing because Doug Carter doesn't magic hands them and then make them all the same. Hey, post-punk mama. You think that's this guy with the mask? Ah, that's interesting. You think that these two could potentially be the same one? Fuck if anyone knows. Top middle one looks like an amateur leprechaun sketch. Puffy hair. Yeah, nobody. The one with the puffy hair is over here. Yeah. So I don't know. This one is Elvis. This is the one that people think looks a lot like Elvis. But the only thing is, like I said, is that Elvis, is being talked about like by being down by Teresa Liebert's house, but Teresa Liebert doesn't actually say that he's wearing a hat, according to the defense. So then that sketch can't be from her. There's got to be even more sketches because we also have a sketch that looks like Mike Patty, according to Holman. Middle bottom looks like KK at the time. Let me see. Somebody actually dropped me a photo of KK from back then. Let me go grab it really quick and I'll show you guys that. Because it was interesting because I don't think that I never really contributed him to being, I just never really, KK just was never part of any of my thoughts, except for if he had just catfished the girls. I always tell you guys, he wasn't going up and down any hills. So somebody was like, well, look at him in 2017 and maybe you'll change your mind. Let me pull up KK. This was KK in 2017 down here. Yeah, I lost you guys in what tab you're in. They saw the whole crew. Maybe they all saw somebody different. So this was KK then, and they put him next to BG. Oh, you guarantee there's more than a dozen sketches. I wouldn't be surprised. But like I said, I think that they took a lot of different aspects of from different people and put it into the old Bridge Guy sketch. And then that's why they changed it and put it as just the one sketch to the one that they thought most likely would have seen a person on the bridge at the same time, which would have been Betsy Blair. Top middle's Johnny Depp. So anyway, so that's KK 2017 apparently. So I could see somebody thinking that. Maybe KK got fat on purpose. Well, he does. Carter does come out and say like they've changed their appearance and they've done these different things. Don't wrestle next to me. Go that way. Go outside. Put glasses on old BG. I don't think I can, but I know that Doug Rice had made one based off of what he said that Rayleigh had told him. Rayleigh was one of the 4 girls, and so this was supposedly more along the lines of what she described. And remember, she's the one who said he was wearing all black. Just looks like everyone passed RL because of his age. We passed KK because of his size. I passed KK because I just feel like he's such a habitual liar, 1. But 2, some of the things that came out about him weren't accurate. And I just, I think that you guys are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I do. I think people wanted him to be the guy, and by people I mean people in power, and they purposely used certain people on social media to push that out to the public with some added commentary that made people think he was the guy. That's the epitome of shilling. And that's what I think happened with KK. Because he was garbage, that doesn't mean that I think he's some great guy. I think he's a crap human being, and he did a lot of really not good stuff that I wouldn't want him around my kids at all. Who was it that talked about the Wabash search recently? Was it HCC where they talked about them looking for a phone and a knife and they possibly found one? I don't know. I only got to watch the first half of HCC's last live, so I don't know if he talked about it in the second half. I recently talked about a theory about if Abby had a phone. Do I have a pic of Logan Holder? Do I have a pic of Logan Holder? Of course I do. Hold, please. Let me see. Let's see if I can get it to load. Old BG looks like my brother, but he was not available at the time and nowhere near Indiana. Well, that's good. I think that he was a bad guy who needed to be arrested for the shit that he did. I don't think he has anything to do with Delphi. And it's what made me stop looking at Delphi, because everything was always about him. And I was like, I don't like it. I just don't think he had anything to do with anything. Come on. You wanna do it, you know you do. Just load. Let me see if I close some other stuff, if it'll load. The Delphi Prezi is really big, so it doesn't like to function as well as it used to. I have questions, and maybe it'll be asked one day. Ask them. Or are they questions not for us? Let's see. Oh my god, I'm telling me that you don't fucking have them in here. I just did all that and then I don't even have this one updated. How do I not have Logan Holder's shit in here? I have it. Hold on. Let me just go in my files and get it. Gosh, one day I'll finish this. One day. So here is Logan Holder at the time. That's closer to the time of the murders, not what he looks like now. But he was young. So when people talk about it being him, I mean, he was young. He was still only 16. And he's not like he wasn't like a mature body kind of 16. If that, I don't know how else to say that. So I don't know. I didn't think him. I don't think it would be him. Now, and I don't want to go throw in all these names around all willy-nilly because I don't. But if you're talking about just comparisons of like what people look like, because these sketches look like so many different people, the older brother looks more similar to that sketch, in my opinion. He's a little tiny pipsqueak. He's just a little scrawny thing. Like I think somebody would go like, that's a little scrawny kid. Like he was a little scrawny teenager out there. Like he hadn't really hit puberty yet. I think they would have noticed that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't contribute him to being there or to any of the sketches we've seen so far. Yeah, that's the same, Shelly. That's how I feel. And that's why I'm like, I don't really want to go throwing all these kids around. We haven't even gotten to the point where they're allowed to even bring Brad Holder in, which like much less, but just for comparison purposes of like sketches, which we've done for years, I would definitely go with that. I think the older brother would have more of a resemblance to somebody on the. I mean, that's. But he didn't have this at the time either. He didn't have that. But now if we go back to them, this guy is supposedly wearing some, what do you call it, mask thing. Not a mask, but what the fuck? I never remember the damn name of that thing. Here, this one. He was more full beard at the time. Carrie Summers, apparently not. Let me see. Did you say something up here? It's hard because sometimes I'm looking at different screens and I don't see what people say. Have any of you in chat been to the Trails Bridge or the crime scene area? I have not. I did plan on going to the trial and then going to the trail and the bridge. I know there are a few people in here that have been to all of the above. Hey, Julie. There's one right there. She's been to all of the above, for sure. Carrie was asking if anybody here has been to the trails or the bridge or the crime scene. So Julie actually has on her channel very good videos tracking the walks between the bridge or between Modon High Bridge and the Freedom Bridge back into the area of the crime scene. So yeah, she definitely has been there. So in the car, let me see if I have it. I don't know why I don't have any of these on my damn freaking Prezi. That pisses me off. They're just not loading on there? They didn't freaking load. I'm like, I knew I had them on here. I knew I did. Knew I had them on here. Sons of guns. Do you think that one of the girls was hung upside down on the tree branch, blood drained like photo on BH Facebook, and that's where there was a cut branch on one of the girls? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I have considered it, but I have considered it. I don't know, there's so many things I've considered though, so it's like tough. Would I say that that's my belief at this moment? I would say no. Do I think it's that possible? Yes. But that's not where I'm at currently. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. Which is why I want this damn trial. I want to know, but where's all the blood? I know. Well, what if it's just soaked into the ground? Do we even know if they took anything to know if it was all in the ground? How much did she bleed out? How much blood was left? I know these are weird questions to even be asking, but they have to be in the circumstances. We don't know if it was gone. Ugh, so tough. Page painting showed Odin leg tied to tree, not to branch. Logan got promoted to master mason soon after the murders. Yes. Logan did? Wait. Wait, what do you mean Logan did? Logan, you're talking about Levi? Logan's the younger one. He wasn't a master mason at 17. It would have been way later. Hi, Dan. Yeah, he's a mortician. How weird is it that we have two people involved in this case that become morticians? At least two people. Well, technically, three. There's three people because one was already a mortician. There's three people. I don't know. That's freaking weird to me. Like, the statistics on this kind of stuff is just crazy. Old bridge guy. Oh, just James. I'm not going to say that. People are already coming in here saying I'm being mean to Goal. Where was there any ligature marks? That's a really tough call. The pictures that were put out, especially of the one that you can actually see the butt, it's a very bad photo. I would not consider it being something that I would take definitively as a yes or no. And then on Abby, on the pictures that we were shown, we don't see that. Carrie said it is much smaller than what we imagine. You can see people walking on either trail between the trees very clearly. That's interesting. I don't think I'd go to the trial. I think the person is still out there. Oh, you think the person would go to the trial? Or try to? I was there the week before they arrested R.A. Dragon Mama. Do you have the pic of him and Abby together? Oh, yeah. Oh, now that it finally loaded. That's why I want to. It wouldn't load. The Delphi Prezi just doesn't like to load. It's just so full. There's so much in here and still so much to add. And my computer's like, I don't know what you're doing. But this is a couple different things about Logan Holder, just because we're in here. Liberty had a boyfriend named Logan Holder. His brother Levi is studying to be a mortician. According to social media, Instagram, Logan and Bride in Sandifer could not go with the girls that day. Logan's dad is Brad Holder, ex-military, has guns, and an apparent desire to post blatantly sexual things about women on his Facebook. Also lives in his parents' basement. On February 17th, he posted a meme stating something along the lines of, "You know who your friends are when they help you hide a body." It has since been removed. Another friend of his works at the Liberty landfill, a perfect place, in my opinion, to hide evidence. This man, Scott, was tagged in a photo on Snapchat and Facebook of another man in a blue jacket, who I traced to be Conklin, a convicted sex offender. So I thought that one was interesting. This is him talking about the girls being found, and so Brad Holder's tagging Logan. I know you're upset. Keep your head up. Dad is here. Carl Abbott owns the funeral home in Delphi. Was also at the trails that day. He's Abby's boyfriend, yeah. Well, I mean, she was 13. I don't know. Boyfriend? I don't know if that's the right. I mean, boyfriend for a 13-year-old, so as long as you put it in context. One of them was his girlfriend, and then he also posts that they were at the viewing together, so Logan is all upset. Here at the viewing, the line is long. Logan is all upset. And then on the 17th, he said, had to take Logan to Delphi. This should be fun. He changes his... I have another picture I'm going to add to this too, because Logan gets a new quote-unquote girlfriend like 2 months later. But he puts on here, rest in peace, my little princess, 12, 2, 13, 17. He was 16, 17. He was... Yeah, but I mean, he's like a little pipsqueak still. So, and then there's Brad Holder. And then there's all kinds of stuff about Brad Holder. And then there's Levi Holder. And pictures from his social media that are just Brad Holder. And then that's just his social media post. Then here's his Odin posts. I got to add a couple to this too. Amber, who was also Odin. She was there today to testify. That was another thing we didn't talk about, was that Brad Holder, Amber Holder, Todd Click, Murphy, I don't know who else was there, but it seemed like they were they were ready to go for this motion in limine, and Brad Holder was probably going to be testifying on behalf of the state, which is just an interesting situation, which is why I said, now that we know the motion in limine is going to be May 21st, I was like, oh, I would be there for that in a heartbeat, but I can't. So Carl Abbott, any relation to Jay Abbott? I don't know, but Carl Abbott is actually related to the Mears, and the Mears are the ones who own the farm across the street. So I don't know if he's related to Jay Abbott. Yeah, they're gonna put Brad Holder on the stand. So weird. I'm like 70-30 is innocent. You see what I mean? It's not 100%, but you know. Well, 70-30 would still be considered, reasonable doubt. Yeah, Carl Abbott's mom is a Mears girl. Yep. Had to take Logan to Delphi. I wonder if that was for Logan to be interviewed in that. I think that was for the viewing. They're all connected. I can tell you, I could find so many connections between so many people, but then you have a town of 3,000. It's like, which ones are actually relevant and which ones aren't. Brad Holder is not a big guy. Nope. Chad Daybell was a gravedigger. Yeah. So that's not necessarily true. Most people would actually say that 90 to 95% is beyond a reasonable doubt, because 100% would be considered beyond all doubt. And that's not the legal requirement to find somebody guilty. But you have, I pulled this study up the other day too, because Ange was talking about it on the Unraveling, I think on one of her videos, and I was like, they typically say it's 90 to 95%. The majority of people would. Some even believe that reasonable doubt is as low as 80%. If you think there's an 80% chance this person did it, they believe that's beyond a reasonable doubt. But most people think it's between 90 and 95. They should go with the Mahdi defense. Many other dudes did it. That's why we don't use percentages in criminal trials, since it's confusing and leads to... They're not allowed to. They're not supposed to. I know that some try to. Some prosecutors will try to. And some defense attorneys will try to. Some are just supposed to say attorneys. We'll try to put that in there. But yeah, did they only 80%, 90, or 95% kill them? I'm just telling you statistically, Carrie, what it is. 100% gets you beyond all doubt. And that's not the legal definition of reasonable doubt. Would the evidence presented to a reasonable person make them believe that that person is responsible for it? Richard Allen is a gnome. That's so silly. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I have to go and probably my husband probably already made dinner. Well, hopefully he did. And so I need to go eat dinner. Tomorrow during the day, I don't know exactly what time. I'm going to say 10:30, 11-ish. We're going to do Karen Reed recap, trial day 5 and 6, which is yesterday and today. And then I do foresee us getting some documents in Delphi tomorrow. If we do, I will be live in the afternoon when I pick up kids from school. So same time as I kind of normally am, that 3:15, 3:30. If we get Delphi docs tomorrow. Other than that, I know for sure I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're interested in Karen Reed, make sure you guys show up in the morning for the Karen Reed trial recap. And I'll see if Sleuthy's busy and if she wants to come on, because, man, it was very interesting going through the first week with her. But I want to try to break it up because that was a 7-hour live we had to do over the weekend because I was sick last week, and I don't want to do that again. So go enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. As I always tell you, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. I know that you guys have 1,000 other places you could spend your time, and you choose to spend your time here hanging out with me. Even if I am mean to the judge or the prosecutor, you guys like me anyway, and I appreciate that. And even those of you who don't always chat, I thank you guys for being here too. So go have a good night. I will see you guys mañana for Karen Reed. And if we get Delphi docs, I will be here in the afternoon for that. Have a good one.
Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Down the rabbit hole. Where it stops, no one